And ever since then, we've opened the doors to our local community so that they may come in and they may look inside and see, you know, what we do inside the masjid. Because I'm sure a few of us must have some sort of burning questions, you know, what happens inside of a masjid? You know, what is inside of a masjid? What do Muslims do inside? And it was a wonderful opportunity for everyone to come inside and communicate and just speak with your local Muslim brothers and sisters and find out more about Islam. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, when communities come together and when they learn more about each other, it breaks down barriers. And in turn, we build bridges of trust, of understanding, and of love. So I can't wait for this program to get started. So first and foremost, we're going to have a recitation of the Quran from Brother Usaid. Assalamu alaikum.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Usaid, for that amazing recitation. So just a bit of background, the first surah that Brother Usaid recited was Surah Fatiha. And the basic Arabic translation of that is called the opener. In fact, Surah Fatiha is one of the most common surahs that almost all Muslims have memorized. And this is because this surah is repeated every time that we pray. And then secondly, the second surah Brother Usaid recited was Surah Baqarah. And in fact, Surah Baqarah, in definition meaning the cow, is the longest surah from the Quran. Now we're going to move on, and I'm going to introduce to you someone who I think is quite important in the mosque and in the local community as well. And that is Brother Asimuddin, and he is the president of UKIM Masjid Ibrahim. So Asimuddin, uncle, this is back to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Junaid. And I'm really, happy to see some of my team members in the mosque after 3 months, I think. And you know that we were actually not allowed in the mosque except the relief activities, the volunteer activities we were doing in the masjid. I know soon you will show all the participants, how we were working in this pandemic, and the good work, by our volunteers, by our partners, we have done. And it's very unfortunate that this is actually being done on Zoom instead of, we were supposed to do it, normally we used to do. Stephen is a witness. Superintendent Wahid is here with us. He was with us last time. So many counselors were with us last time. And we had a nice meal, and we were actually enjoying very good time. So many other faith and no faith people were with us. We were having good communication, chit chat. We were loving it, and unfortunately, due to this pandemic, we are doing this. But I know that we will soon be together in front of each other, and not sitting in front of our cameras, in front of our mobiles, but we will be sitting next to each other, and we will enjoy this, and we will remember this, what happened here with us. So I would like to welcome everyone. As Junaid mentioned, I am the president of Masjid Ibrahim for last year and a half, and my duties include to make sure that all the congregational activities are being peacefully done in the masjid. Secondly, because we have youth, quite a few youth in our masjid, so we have a youth club, we have a youth activities. 50% of the masjid is for sisters. Mashallah, we have a very strong sisters unit who work more than us, I would say, and definitely our sisters will brief you about and give you some, detailed information about what is the work they are doing in the community, not in the masjid, but in the community, the way they are working. Thirdly, we have an autism program where we were actually not aware a year ago that we have that many students and children actually outside of the school settings who are desperately looking for a place where they can actually go and feel like school setting. So we actually started this autism project where we are successfully, I think we have enrolled 35 students right now who were coming to the masjid, and we were giving them just like the school setting. But now they are, I think, doing on their Zoom, they are doing on Zoom conferencing. So we are providing so many facilities and services to our local community. We actually provide free funeral services. So normally when people go to any funeral director, they are about over £3,000 they have to stamp. We provide this service free of cost. We provide our ambulance free of cost to our local community so they can use for their loved one. And we are actually now, we have opened during this pandemic our food bank. And during the month of Ramadan, around 700 to 800 people were benefited from that food bank. We have a very excited, very energetic Danielle with us. She will tell you about, when she visited us, how busy we were, that she had to, jump in, and she said, look, I want to do something, it look like you're very busy. So you will definitely hear from her, and hopefully you will see that how the masjid run by our members in the masjid. So we have Brother Noman in the masjid, and Usaid and Junaid, they are in the masjid, and they will run the remaining program. And thank you very much, everyone, for joining. We have some guest speakers. We have Stephen Timms with us. We have Umesh Desai. We have Superintendent Wahid Khan with us. We have Sister Sahar Hassan. She's our in charge for sister section. I will make sure that she has been given as much time as she wants to tell you about the activities sister has been done. So Noman, back to you.
Yes, sir. Jazakallah khair, Brother Asim. Hope you're doing well from the comfort of your home. So we're going to continue on with this program now. And I've got Brother Usaid there who will be giving the adhan. The adhan is basically the call to prayer in Arabic. So I'm going to let Brother Usaid take it away with you.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
MashaAllah, and Jazakallah khair, Brother Said. So just to continue on from what Brother Said did, that was the adhan, which is the call to prayer. And just to put everything into context, being a Muslim, the key fundamentals are the 5 pillars of Islam. So the key fundamentals that make a Muslim a Muslim. And I just want to quickly go through it so that there's very clear understanding of it. So the first pillar is called Shahada. And Shahada is the proclamation that there is no God but God, Allah, and that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the last messenger. Now, this is something Muslims have to say and they have to live by. That's what makes a Muslim, I suppose you can say, when they say the Shahada. The second one is Salah, it's prayers. And Muslims, they are obliged to pray 5 times a day, every single day. And what Brother Said did, that was the adhan, and that's the call to prayer. Now, Muslims are told to pray before sunrise, that's Fajr. Dhuhr happens afternoon, maybe between 1 to 2 p.m. time. Asr is late afternoon. We've got Maghrib, which is straight after sunset, and Isha, which is evening prayers. So those are the 5 daily prayers that Muslims have to do every single day. The third one is Zakat, where Muslims are told to give 2.5% of their yearly earnings to people who require it in need. The fourth is Swam, which is fasting. I'm sure most of us might have realized that Muslim had gone through the month of Ramadan just a few weeks ago, and that's when Muslims abstain from food and water and from any sexual activities and any bad habits from sunrise, from dawn all the way till sunset. And you know, there's a great lesson about learning about spirituality as well, and becoming closer to God, and you know, becoming more charitable in person as well. And the last is Hajj, where a physically fit and a mental able person should make the pilgrimage to Mecca once in his lifetime. So those are the 5 basic pillars, 5 main pillars of Islam. And right now, I just want to show you just how the masjid is looking like right now. I mean, for me, this is the first time after 3 months, and I just want to talk you through what's going on here. So abiding by government laws, or government rules, we're ensuring that when the mosque is open from the 4th of July, that there is sufficient spacing and distance between each worshipper who comes in here. So if you just want to see, for an example, so there's a tape which is marked across right here. And on this prayer mat, this is where the imam will be leading the prayers. And then one row after that, if we see this distance between the tapes, so this space will be left up for one individual person to stand and pray. And there's another one over there. And if we continue, there's 2 more spaces on that side. And then again, there's a 2-meter gap. And then on the second row after that, then we've got more spaces for worshippers to come and pray here. So this is just an overview of the main congregational hall. You know, this is the heart of the mosque. This is where worshippers come and they come to pray. And it's not just prayers. You know, they would come here and they would sit and they would recite the Quran. They would recite the word of God. They could come sit here and contemplate on whatever it is that they would whatever it is that they would like to. So this is not just a place for prayers, but it's a place for many other things. You know, you could hold meetings here. You know, people could get together and they could just socialize and get to know one another as well. And, you know, just sort of walking across there, I want to show you one of the facilities, which I think is fun us. That's the wrong door, isn't it? So this over here we have is the funeral facilities. And I'm very pleased to say that UKIM has had this facility for many years. You know, Muslims in Tanzania, you've got some storage spaces over there, and you've got, and you've got all the facilities to make sure that people are washed appropriately and clean. Okay, now I'm going to pass it on over to the sisters who are upstairs, and they're going to talk more about the activities that they're getting up to. So I'm going to pass it on to Sister Amal.
Yes, Sister Amal, if you start something. Sister Shaista and Sister Amal, please.
Everyone, my name is Shaista. I'm here to talk about Al Farouk today. Al Farouk is a Saturday school that happens here, and it happens every Saturday between 10 and 1 p.m. We have boys and girls here, the age of 6 to 16 years old. It was set up in 2010 and is still continuing, and it was set up by the sisters who actually been attending the things over here, and they decided to do something for the children as well. The purpose of this group is so the children become better Muslims and build the character within themselves, and that's why we have this group. In this, we teach them all about the Quran, the Islamic studies, and also the language, which is the language of the Quran, Arabic. We teach them that. We also set them trips because we think that physical and mental health is very important. So we do take them on trips to understand that that is part of life, and it's very important for them to have that part of thing as well. We also have presentation for parents with children set up, and they invite them to see the work they've been carrying out throughout the year. So, and after we see their work, what they've done for the year, we also reward them for all their hard efforts here, and we reward them with trophies and certificates. This has been continuing very well here, but since the lockdown, everything has been stopped. What we have done for the children, we have given them individual packs to continue their work and continue their learning, because we think that is very important still. There is also online help for them, which they need, and it's always available for them. Thank you for listening to me, and now I'm going to pass you over to Amo, and she's going to talk about the youth side of things, how that happens here.
Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Amal, and I'm going to show you and I'm going to tell you a bit about the youth. So why don't you come upstairs with me, because that's where the youth classes run. So the youth classes and the youth club for the girls is more about giving a safe space for the girls to communicate with us about their struggles that they're having in maybe school, maybe with their personal lives. It's just to build a safe space where we can talk about topical subjects that maybe come up in the news that is not often discussed in their family and their home lives, and we can be there to support their struggles and tell them how to go about dealing with them. So this is one of the rooms. Oh, the lights are shut, but we do not do the classes in here. We do the classes in there. So let's go to. So this is the space where we do our classes. It's really, really big. And what we normally do in these classes, the first 10 to 15 minutes is a starter. So we use this space to allow the girls to relax. We normally play a game, something like running around or Kings. I don't know if you've heard of that game. But these girls are normally towards the ages of like 12 to 18. And some of the most recent topics we've been talking about social media and how to go about dealing with fake friends and even more controversial topics like self-harm comes up. So that will be the main discussion of the youth class. And then the last 10 minutes is normally just a debate session where we like ask the girls to debate about more controversial issues and get their side of the story. And yeah, I think that is it. But yeah, the main point for the youth clubs is to give a really safe space for the girls to talk and to allow them to understand that the mosque is not just somewhere where you sit and you pray, but really it's a place where you can discuss topics that might be controversial as well and have a really great conversation and a really great time. So back to you, Brother Junaid. Or maybe Brother Asim.
Yeah, thank you very much. The main point for this youth club is that it's been run by youth for youth. So that's very important that Amal is running this youth club, and she have similar age girls with her who have been given full authority to run the show. We have no interference, and that's why we say it's more power or empowering our youth, so they can take decisions. They can make all these decisions there what that is good for them. So over to Junaid.
Yes, Junaid.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Asim. I'm going to try and speak a bit quietly at the moment because, as you can see, there is actual prayers which are happening behind me. And as you can see, they're all abiding by the social distances where they're all 2 meters apart. But yeah, just to continue on, youth is such a major factor for this mosque, and we try and help the youth and engage them in the best way possible. Over at Masjid Ibrahim, we also have a youth club that we have been running for quite a few years on a consistent basis on weekends, where we bring youth in and then we try and give them very good Islamic upbringings and morals. And alongside the same time, we get people to engage and socialize so that they may grow up in a very safe Islamic environment where they might learn about morals and how to be a great character and how to be great human beings. So that's just a little bit insight into what as to what our youth group does. Now I'm going to pass it on over to Sister Summer, and she's going to talk about the autism project. Over to you, Sister Summer.
Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah khair, Junaid, for passing it on to me. So we're back on the first floor now. You've had a brilliant tour of the second floor where they do the youth, and also the first floor where they do Al-Farouk. But actually, because you guys can see this partition around here, we shut the partition so that multiple classes happen at once. And alhamdulillah, we're really, really proud to say that we also cater for our special community. The special educational needs community, we focus on the autism project. So we cater for students or children between the ages of 5 and 16 who have the autism spectrum disorder, ASD. And in these classes, what we do is we try and engage them in Islamic activities, really focusing on their needs, such as non-verbal and also high functioning. These are students who perhaps have speech delay, they cannot speak, and also those students who are much older and they have ASD as well. Our entire floor is usually consisted of a lot of games. Alhamdulillah, we have a sensory corner where students can regulate themselves if they're getting agitated as well. So alhamdulillah, we're really, really happy to show and announce really that we also cater and we also encourage all inclusiveness. Autism and the special community, in our opinion, is extremely, extremely important. And often they are the community that are forgotten about, unfortunately. So alhamdulillah, we are really proud to say that we have these sessions every Saturday for these students so that they can also feel part of the masjid, so that they can also feel like this place is a safe space for them. So that is something that we are really, really happy to have, something that we really thrived and really drive our passion to work at the masjid as well. Now I'm going to hand over, inshallah, to the next person, inshallah, to conduct the next session. I think it's back to you, Junaid.
Now, as I said, masjid is not just a place. Sorry. So masjid is not just a place where we just come to worship and we just come to pray. We say that masjid is the hub. It's the hub of the local community. And now, I'm sure as we were sort of zooming around and just looking around the mosque, you saw some activity happening on the far side. And this is exactly what I want to talk to you guys about. And UKIM now have set up an initiative called iCare, and its whole purpose was to help people in the UK. Now, there's a great saying that says that charity starts at home, and UKIM then looks at challenges and difficulties that were faced within the local community. And once they looked, they found out that there were two main aspects that we could tackle. The first one was homelessness, and the second one was the fact that there were so many people who were finding it extremely difficult to get by on a day-to-day basis. Now, when this initiative started, they were wonderful and they helped out a lot of people. But as soon as COVID hit, this became even a greater task because a lot more people then became dependent on food banks. And as you can see now, this place has now become a central food bank for the local people here in Europe. So as you can see, you know, hot food is being served. If we just actually walk around, so we can see someone who's just cutting up some hot chicken. We've got some hot meals which have already been prepared. We've got some drinks here. And if we go around, we've got some sauces here. We've got some fruits, some vegetables, bananas and tomatoes. So basically all the essentials a person would require, you know, just to survive on a day-to-day basis. And, you know, we have to thank the partners as well who've also looked at this initiative and have generously donated to help out in this situation. We've got some meals that have already been packed. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're just going to speak to one of the volunteers here, just to get an idea of how successful this whole project has been.
Junaid,
Can you just tell us a bit more about this iCare initiative and how helpful it has been?
Actually, since this crisis started, we responded very positively, not to the local residents because of their supplies, because of their pandemic situation. We also responded to NHS, and then most of, I think, what I would say, UKIM is one of those charities whose almost all members and associate members are part of the NHS volunteer team. So that's how we started our activities. And
can I come in between? It's quite a noisy. Can you come on the little bit quiet side? You know, I know the volunteers are, because people are coming in to get the food. That's why, you know, it's too much noise behind, because you know, the volunteers are serving the community. I think, yeah, if you come on a peaceful side where it's not noisy, so people can hear it.
So actually, that's how we started, and then in parallel, we also started contributing for the food supplies for those who were vulnerable and then were staying at home or were required to stay at home by NHS. So that's how we started our activities. Yeah.
Oh, it's been really brilliant. And we've seen as well that there's a queue outside and people are waiting to take the deliveries. Can you tell us on a day-to-day basis how many people you were helping out in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very thankful to say that our Plaster branch was one of the branches when we started this activity. I mean, it was self-funded by the UKIM Plaster branch, and then we were faced with quite a huge response from the local community. Not only in the form of contribution, but also in the form of, because there was a lot of needy people or those people who needed some food supplies on urgent basis. So nearly, I would say, 500 to 600 people started coming to the mosque. Wow. And then we started distributing them not only the tech food but also the fresh food. Yeah.
Fresh food.
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I understand that you're a volunteer here, so you voluntarily come out and you help for this project. Can I ask you? This may be a personal question, but what makes you volunteer for a project like this?
I mean, we live in this community, and then I know because we have been through those situations when people need some help, some support from their neighborhood. So I know how people feel when they are in a different situation like this one, in the pandemic situation. So this is really an inspiring thing for me to contribute to them, and not only me. There is a bunch of, like, I would say, volunteers who are contributing every day, and not only those, people are even bringing from the neighborhood, bringing their packed foods and fresh foods to deliver to the local residents. So this is how not only from the contribution side, but also people are volunteering side by side.
Absolutely. So you would say this is definitely a community push. Everyone in the community has really put their efforts together and made this iCare food bank program very special, so that it may help people in this very needy time.
Definitely, yeah. What I would also like to add is that since we started, as I said, on self-funded basis from our own funds, and then because we had a huge response from the local community, and then our local council and then our other partners also started contributing to that effort. So I would say, Alhamdulillah, we are faced with huge response from local communities, and then local council and other partners are also contributing to facilitate those activities. Yeah.
Can you just re-emphasize as to how many people this project is sort of serving so far, or helping so far?
I would say average 500-600 people are coming every day to get the fresh food, and we are not only doing the fresh food in the mosque, we are also contributing to deliver food at the doorsteps by the help of council.
So I assume this is for the vulnerable people and shielding who may not be able to go out. You've gone to their houses and delivered at the mosque.
Yeah.
So you know, that's such a fantastic and such a great achievement in the local community coming together and helping out with the project of iCare. Well, that's all it from here. So now we're going to pass it on to Sister Seher now, who's upstairs. So to Sister Seher now.
Sister Seher is virtually check.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A very warm welcome to all of you. I hope you all can hear me. Can you hear me? Hi, Danielle. All right. So I've got 5 minutes and I have to sort of summarize of what we do. Now, when you hear that there's a mosque and there are sisters going, so what do you think? What you all think probably, that we do perform our prayers and that's it. But no, this mosque is much more than that. This is a community center. A community center which is welcoming everyone from all the backgrounds. And I'll tell you how we work. So the sisters, we have our classes and we have our Islamic studies for youth, for girls, for women, for sisters and for brothers. But not only that, we have arranged different activities for different age groups. For example, we are involved in community coffee mornings. So we arrange coffee mornings and we invite people from all the backgrounds to come and have a chit chat, have a cup of tea. I mean, by the way, I love tea. So, so we invite everybody to come, have a tea, talk about whatever they feel, share their ideas, and let's have a common forum for that. Now, it happens on 6 weeks basis. And then we have Macmillan coffee mornings as well. And for Macmillan, we have been arranging it for years now. We have been also collecting funds for them. And not only that, what we initiated recently was to have awareness sessions. So we contacted local GPs for that. And last time what we had was cancer and the causes of cancer. We had the preventions and causes of cancer, which was explained by the local GPs. When we contacted the GPs, they were very much happy and they were very much excited to come and conduct the sessions. And by the way, the photos that you all are watching are small recognition to all those key workers, not only in this pandemic. We have been doing it for years now. So the Sisters of Masjid Ibrahim, they go to these key workers, either it's GPs or it's our surgeries or pharmacies or firemen or policemen, and we give them, in the month of this blessed Ramadan, we give them these gift packs with chocolates and a little acknowledgement. Also, we have raised fund for hospice, St. Joseph's Hospice, and it was more than 2,000, as you can see. Not only that we collected funds for them, but we went physically, we went there, we visited the place, we were engaged with physical, what are the activities that they are doing. So our sisters were there visiting them, getting involved, getting to know the atmosphere, helping them, and also collecting funds. So it's just not the mosque that our actions or our activities are restricted to. We have gone out of there. We have, you can see in the photos, we have distributed, and it happens every year. A group of our sisters, they give their time, they give their efforts, even if they're fasting also they go and they give these gift packs, they distribute them amongst NHS, among all the key workers. And this year we extended it to our binmen, because obviously all these efforts, they are counting, especially in this pandemic, when nobody is willing to go out and everybody's trying to save themselves. They are the ones who are keep things going. Also, we have, along with this awareness sessions, we have, as I mentioned to you, we have Macmillan coffee mornings, we have community coffee mornings, we have these key workers that we reach to, and we invite GPs to come over and deliver sessions on awareness, have awareness sessions. So, with the help of that, this food is also from there, our coffee mornings. So with that, not only that we get to know the people who are living around us, the key workers and everyone who's a part of the community, but they have started getting to know us better. They know that, okay, yes, this is Masjid Ibrahim sisters, and they are here, and they are putting so much effort. And with that, the decorations that we do, everybody loves that, because when we participate in Mosque Open Day, which we have started participating it, then we have all the decorations and we make the cake, and it's last year ones, these photos are from last year. And alongside brothers, we are there to welcome people from all the background, to see what we do, to share what we do, and we are there to, answer their questions. So all these activities, mashallah, we are quite busy, this branch, and the second floor and the third floor is something or the other. You come to this masjid and see, you come to this masjid and you'll see something or the other happening. A lot of different circles are going on, study circles are going on, awareness sessions going on, coffee mornings, or sometimes Macmillan, or sometimes awareness session. So I'm just hoping that after everything is over and we are back to our masjid, because we are missing our mosque. And to the sisters who went there and who are live there, they were very excited to see the floor of the mosque after a long time. So I hope that we go back to our masjid again, and we welcome you all to come and see when it is open, to see how we work, and it welcomes everyone. So Alhamdulillah, now I will I have summarized everything, and I'm going to go to our counselor. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So we have got our local Newham councillor, Sister Lukmani Shah. She's here. She has been engaged with local projects. She also supported us with, hi Lukmani. She also supported us. She has been invited in different awareness sessions, and she has witnessed the decorations and everything, and our work and effort, and she has supported us a lot. So we thank you for that. And so hand over to you, Lukmani. And thank you all.
Very much, sister. Yes, so it's really great to be here. So I've been part of the Sisters Forum since 2014. So I've worked with the UKIM sisters for a long time, and they're part of a women's group that I run, which is Sisters Faith Matters as well. So as you said, Sister Sahad, that, I've been in and out of the masjid. And you've done some amazing work, especially with the cancer awareness. So well done to all the sisters at the masjid. So apart from that, I have to also talk about the work that your mosque did during the COVID-19 period. So when Italy was start locking down and we were monitoring the situation, and yourselves, especially Mr. Asim Yudin, who's also the chair of the center, he started doing the work and started collecting items, and we were supporting the no recourse to public funds residents. I'm not going to say who they were, but we know who we supported. And you've done some amazing work at the very beginning of the COVID, before anybody else came into the scene, before Britain started lockdown, which was 23rd of March, and you started your work before that. So thank you very much for helping our vulnerable families. And then you went on to do the hot food parcels, and I know a lot of people who were ill at the time. You went and delivered the food to them because they couldn't come out of the house. You've done the shopping, you've done some amazing work. I'm also here as the Buddhist representative of the community, where I've done some work with you. Currently what I'm doing is I'm doing a research on positive psychology, Dr. Seligman's theory on mindfulness. So I think after this COVID period, a lot of people are currently going through a lot of problems, and I'm assuming or presuming that there will be a lot of mental health issues post-COVID-19. I would love to share the findings of the research, how we can then step in to help our community again together jointly to make it a bit better for them. So that's something I would like to do with you. But I think more importantly, I just want to thank your organization for the wonderful work you've done during this COVID period. And I would love to carry on the work I'm doing, especially the UKIM sisters, coffee mornings. I look forward for the lockdown to finish to come and have a coffee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lukmani. Thank you very much for coming. I know it was a short notice, but thank you very much, and so nice of you. I know you are working hard for those who have no resource to public fund, and I know that the voice is been heard. People are now talking about this no resource to public fund, and so many residents who are struggling. I know Stephen is also working on this. I will definitely want to hear, because I think on Thursday Tim actually talked about it in the parliament. So I would love to hear about this from Tim. So now our next speaker is Danielle. Danielle Hembrook is our community activist, a very active community activist who worked tirelessly. I have seen her, she is in different groups, in WhatsApp group and Facebook group, where, every minute it's look like, she's here, she's there. And I wanted to give her a chance to, talk about the work she is doing with us, the work she is generally doing in the community, and how, she found us, and how, she is doing all this work, tirelessly. I feel sometimes tired, but I think Danielle is not tired. So Danielle, over to you.
Hi there, and thank you, Brother Asim. Thank you to everybody who's made me feel so welcome. It's been absolutely amazing. It's really nice to see faces of people that I've only talked to on the telephone, especially the sisters who I've spoken to. I can't actually remember how I ended up at your doorstep, but I know that I was welcomed. And if I come with a car full of goods, I always leave with something for another charity. There's always sharing going on. There's always help for somebody in need. And that's how the community's grown. And what I do is I facilitate in the community. So I help one charity, help another charity. Somebody offers me something because my reputation is good, then I go and help. If somebody has an individual family they need helping, they ask me, I help. I go to other places and we end up with a car full and we end up helping people. So that's amazing. I also wanted to say that I'm now working with the sisters on a really exciting project. Sister Shahat and Sister Shaista, we are making masks. We noticed in the community that the sisters had not been taken into account, and neither actually had the Sikh community. So this mask, which the sisters are helping to produce, it comes undone and you fit it the first time with buttonhole elastic, so it fits the side of your head. Oh, I've got to take my glasses off, sorry. And you fit it and it goes. So the idea is it goes over your hijab. There's no more awkward trying to put it under your ear, over your ears. There's no having to, you know, use your face scarf. You have proper masks that work for you. So we are a small project getting off the ground. We have the packs made up. So if anybody sews, we'd be glad to hear from you. And if anybody wants to support the project further, we'd like to see the sisters of the mosques around the country taking the design and making it for their own sisters. Thank you, Brother Asim.
Thank you very much, Danielle. So nice of you. Because we are short of time, I will quickly give the chance to Councillor Zulfikar Ali. He is our local councillor and representative of one of the forum here in Newham. So, Councillor Zulfikar Ali.
Thank you very much, Asim. And first of all, apologies for lateness. I had another meeting. And secondly, congratulations for organizing a virtual, Visit Your Mosque. I mean, last year, a number of mosques in Newham did have openings on different days to encourage the wider community to join us to see what actually does happen in the mosque. So this year, because of COVID-19, unfortunately, we are in a different scenario. And well done for taking this opportunity to organize it today. And I'm sure it's been great for the participants. And secondly, as you know, COVID-19 has had a pretty damaging and devastating impact across the whole country, but more particularly in Newham. We have lost a lot of our loved ones, and my condolences to anybody who's listening who may have lost their family members. Certainly, I know a number of people that we have lost from our community. We had Councillor Abdul Karim Sheikh, who is has been a councillor in Newham and was the founder member of Green Street Mosque. And we lost him during the early days. And there are many other people that we lost, doctors, other professionals, and the people in the caring sector. So our condolences to all of those. And in terms of the role that Masjid Ibrahim and indeed UK Islamic Mission played during COVID-19 lockdown, and still are playing, to be honest with you, it's really great to see that our organization has come out such a manner that has actually helped a lot of people. I know that we all had a difficult Ramadan this year, and it is good to see that we've taken the opportunity to actually do something different. And bearing in mind that we were in a crisis time, it was really good to see all our community coming out to support those in need. The food packages and this financial support and the moral support and psychological support that you have been offering and people like Lakmini has been offering. It's been great. I think we need to make sure that we appreciate that. And your role, particularly Asim, has been very instrumental in that. And let's hope and pray that this pandemic is over soon. But I think from my perspective as Cabinet Lead for Health and Adult Social Care, my message to our people is that life is very important, it's very precious, so we need to make sure that we look after ourselves. It is true the government is relaxing the rules and regulations, but the numbers are still there. It is not over yet, so let us not be complacent. Let us keep safe, make sure that we follow government guidelines. There's ample information on council website. We do also have a number of initiatives which I think you have already taken part, Asim. I mean, we are now encouraging people to join as health champions. And this is the ideal time for people to join. And our purpose is to make sure that, you know, the volunteers are given the full brief in terms of COVID, the latest information, and then a mechanism for actually dispersing the information to our loved ones, our families and friends, so that how actually people can look after themselves. It is very important. We have had a pretty disproportionate impact in terms of, you know, the BAM community, and in Newham, you know, well over 70%, you know, is BAM, and we have 73% community that belong to ethnic minorities. So we are vulnerable. So it is very important that we actually look after ourselves and the people we know. So yes, rules are being relaxed, but please take care, take responsibility for yourself, and not only for yourself but others. A lot of people may be carriers but won't know the symptoms, but they could be infecting others. You know, therefore, it's very important that if we feel, you know, we have anything to, you know, which may be suspected as potentially COVID, let us take care of ourselves and for others. And thank you once again for organizing this brilliant piece of work that you've been undertaking. May Allah grant you further wisdom, help, and strength in order to carry on with this excellent work. Thank you.
Thank you, Constable Farah. Thank you very much for coming on short notice. I have three more speakers. We have Umesh Desai, we have Stephen Timms, and we have Superintendent Wahid Khan. I think let's go to Superintendent Wahid Khan and let's hear from him. Last time he gave his task to Superintendent Ian Brown. So luckily we have Wahid back with us. So here you go, Wahid.
Hello, good afternoon, evening now. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thanks firstly for inviting me to take part in this. It's a huge honor to be here on behalf of the police and joining this event. It's really interesting, actually. I found that really useful, the kind of virtual tour, to see the kind of measures that the mosques you're doing to try and make sure that you can continue to engage with our community, you continue to engage with our young people, despite all the challenges we have with the COVID. You know, when we look back to when the lockdown first took place, from a policing perspective, it's always been a challenge, but we've always policed by consent. And I think, you know, what's made our job a lot more kind of easier, if that's the right word, is to work with the community, because it's only when we understand what the community is thinking and what the community is feeling that we can make sure that our job reflects that. So we've always tried in the lockdown, and I know it's easing now, but we've always tried to use an approach called the 4 E's, which you may have heard about, which is, it starts with a case of saying, look, can we just explain to you, can we encourage you, can we try and get you to move on and comply with the regulations, comply with the government guidelines. That as officers, it's our job to try and enforce. We do have the option to enforce, but we have always tried not to do that. That's not where we want to come from. So we've always encouraged people to comply with the lockdown. As it's been easing, I think Zulfikar, you said it best, I guess. It has been easing, but it hasn't gone away. There are still restrictions that we all need to abide by. And I'm grateful to see that obviously the mosque is leading the way in some ways and trying to make sure that the measures that they have are sensible, proportionate, and it's something that hopefully the community will take on board. Because from a policing perspective, we know there's only so many people that will, you know, they'll listen to other people more than they may listen to us. They may feel more comfortable engaging and discussing the current environment than they have when it comes to speaking to us. So I'm really grateful for all the work that the mosque is doing. When we look back at Ramadan that's just passed by, it's a very different Ramadan. I've never experienced one like that before. Last year, for example, you know, I came to the mosque. We had the iftari dinner, and I know some of the people on this call as well did the same. And it's a shame we couldn't do that this year. But it's very nice to see everyone on this virtual kind of call, where we can still collectively be together and discuss the kind of issues that we're facing at the moment. And hopefully, inshallah, when, you know, it won't be too long when there'll come a time when we can all congregate, get back together and try and be a bit more normal than we currently are. I guess the final thing I just want to say is just bear in mind, as Zulfikar said and as others have touched upon, it's important that we still continue to abide by even though it's easing, the kind of conditions that we have at the moment. If you feel that us as police aren't doing our jobs properly, if there's something that you feel we're not doing, please let me know. I am still here, even though the neighbourhood superintendent is someone now called Ian Brown. He can't be here today, but I am still superintendent within Newham and Waltham Forest. I take a very active role, and I'm covering both neighbourhoods and all of the other functions that I do as part of that superintendent role. So please feel free. A lot of you have my contact details. If you don't, then Asim, I'm sure you have those as well. You can share that with everyone. But that's it for me, and I'll let others come in. But thank you for letting me join. It's been really useful. Thank you.
Okay, there is one question for you. I would like to talk to you about bike theft and safety, please. So someone, want to know about what police is doing about bike theft in the borough.
Oh, right. Okay. So is that on the chat? I'm just going to bring up the chat, actually. Someone asked that on the chat, did they?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Yes, here we go. I can see it from Daniel around. I would like to talk to you about bike theft safety, please. So what I would say around bike theft is, depending on where it happens, your starting point, I would suggest, apart from reporting it, obviously, would be to liaise with your local dedicated ward officers. So these are officers that each ward will have 2 of. And their job is to know their local area, to make sure that they're engaging with the communities. So where bike thefts are happening and it's a pattern, then it's for that ward officer and their colleagues to take the lead, work with the council, work with other agencies and partners, speak to me and the centre around extra resourcing they may need to try and tackle that bike theft. So if there are areas, Daniel, that you feel, that are particularly geographical areas within Newham that need that kind of focus, then please feel free to either speak to me afterwards or drop me an email. My contact details will ask him, and we can look into that for you. But certainly report that, because it's important we get a sense of where the patterns are. Some people don't report it to us for whatever reason, and it will just never show up on our records. And I hope that gives some way of an answer.
Yes, thank you. I know Daniel want to ask something, but because we have very limited time and 2 honorable guests who are our chief guests, actually they are waiting in a queue. So before going to Honorable Stephen Timms, I would go for our very own Umesh Desai, who is one of our local London Assembly member, and he is very local to us. He lives just across the corner from the masjid. So here you go, Umesh. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you, Brother Asim. Salam alaikum, everyone. Good evening, and it's a pleasure and a privilege to be with you today. Is that the masjid is actually doing this virtual tour. Obviously, COVID is still with us, but life has got to carry on. And this is a fantastic example. I'm a big fan of the masjid's program, the way that you promote your work, the way that you do activities, try to involve all sections of the community. And this is again, the latest example. Anything I can do, obviously, to help. As I think various speakers, including Superintendent White, kind of said, that the virus is still with us. Thankfully, in London, it seems to have reached a plateau. But in places like Leicester, last week, there was an upsurge in reported cases. It's going to be with us for quite some time until we get a vaccine. It's about how we actually all keep safe, take care of one another, of our families, all the advice the government and local authorities give to us, that we will get through this very terrible period. But this is where I think the role of organizations, faith organizations like Masjid Ibrahim is so important. The sort of work that Councillor people like Lakmini Shah and then Stephen, our local my local MP, are doing around helping the less fortunate of our community. It's so important. It's by sticking up for one another that we will get through this difficult times. And this is where I think the masjid is doing all this work that you've sort of spoken about, but I see on social media, helping to get rations and provisions out to people who need them. So that was my first point, that the virus is still there. We got to sort of try to keep on top of it, and it's going to be a slow process, but we will get there. There's no doubt about that. Better times will come. We've been through some terrible few weeks, and we lost so many people. I mean, the next 2 months are going to be important because some of the experts say that there might be a second upsurge. So let's wait and see. The other thing I want to say is that let's use this occasion to send solidarity and our condolences to the families of the 3 people who died in that sad attack in Reading. Again, let's not speculate about the motives or whatever. Crime is crime. if it's a terrorist attack or a criminal attack, attacks from no matter who's done it is got to be condemned. So having said that, but I think COVID has also seen how different sections of our community from all different faiths or no faiths, people have come together to help one another. And that for me is the best thing about Newham. The other thing I want to say is that we can't ignore the current political climate. I mean that with small Brother Asim, of what's going on with all the protests in London, nationally and in America, the Black Lives Matters movement. I attended an event in Central Park yesterday, which was very peaceful, socially distanced by and large. That was my first event I actually went out publicly. It's just across the road from me, and I felt to be there. Let's be very, very clear. All lives matter, no matter which community you come from. But we cannot say that all lives matter with any conviction and mean it if some sections of community feel that they are not, being treated fairly and equally, and that is, well, not just a feeling, but experiences both in America and here. So the Black Lives Matter movement is about actually ensuring that all sections of our community are treated equally. I pay tribute to the work that Wahid and his colleagues are doing. There's a lot of pressure right now. There's some disgraceful scenes in central London last Saturday, which I think all good people of goodwill would condemn strongly. But again, these are the realities of life. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. Brother Asim, thank you again for inviting me. I was going to leave a bit earlier, but actually I was quite enjoying this session. And I'll send a message to someone else that I'll talk to them later on. And I know that we are waiting for Stephen to speak. So thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Please be safe and well with your friends, families. We are hopefully over the worst, but until it's gone, look after yourself, your family. Life is important. And this period of reflection, lockdown, has made me think and reflect about the importance of life, values, solidarity, community, friends. And that's why I really count myself, to be a friend of the masjid. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Unmesh. Thank you very much. Really appreciate, I have been reading your articles in different newspapers and the work you have been doing, as a London Assembly member in the Assembly and outside, within the community, the way you are performing, you're extraordinary. So thumbs up to you. Thank you very much. So now our last speaker is the Right Honorable Stephen Timms. Stephen always very kindly accept our invitation, and it's so nice of him, that whenever we requested him to come, he always, attended. He never said no to us. So thank you very much. And the floor is yours. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay.
I've done it, I think.
Okay. Cheers.
Is that all right?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. I say assalamu alaikum. Very pleased to be here with my friends and colleagues, with Unmesh and Blackmany. Nice to see Danielle here. I was very interested to hear about those masks, and it's a great idea. And Zulfi and Wahid as well. And I just wondered whether I could echo the tribute that Zulfi paid to AK Sheikh, who we probably all knew well, who was a distinguished member of our community for a long time, with his work in starting up the Green Street Mosque, and then as councillor and mayor. And he's a loss to our community. And actually Lynn Brown, the MP for West Ham, paid a tribute to him in that debate in the House of Commons that you mentioned earlier, Asim, the debate on Thursday, which Lynn and I both spoke in. It was good to hear Lynn speaking about him. But I must say, I think you've organised a very interesting event for us today. You've done it very professionally as well. Some very proficient people on both sides of the camera, I would say, as you've shown us around, and it has been a good opportunity to have a good look around the building. That's worked very well. Of course, it would be better still if we could be there in person, and let's hope that by this time next year that might be possible again for us to come and pay a visit in person. But anyway, this has been a pretty good substitute for that. And in some ways, I think you have been able to show us things that we might not have been able to see if we had been in there in person. I presume, for example, if we'd been there in person, you probably wouldn't have shown us the funeral facilities to see them and everything else around the building. And the building certainly looks in good shape and well prepared for reopening in a couple of weeks' time. A couple of things I just wanted to mention, or one thing in particular. I mean, you have done a fantastic job working with and supporting LACMNI, working, as you've said, with the council in supporting people who otherwise, I'm afraid, in the last 3 months would not have had enough food. And it is a dreadful situation to have arisen. And as you said, Asim, I spoke about this in Parliament in that debate on Thursday, when we were talking about, the debate was about the fact that COVID has so disproportionately affected Black and minority ethnic residents of the UK, who've been much harder hit relatively than white residents. And there are no doubt lots of reasons for that, and the scientists are going to be looking at it for a while, but we know some of the reasons, and the Public Health England makes the point that there are barriers for Black and minority ethnic residents in accessing some services. And I'm afraid one of those services is the Social Security safety net. For those who have no recourse to public funds, if they don't qualify for one or other of the government schemes, there is no safety net if you're in that position. And many, many people in our community have found themselves in that position, and they've got no recourse to public funds. They've got nothing. And I talked to the Prime Minister at a thing called the Liaison Committee that I am a member of as chair of the Work and Pension Select Committee. I spoke to him 3.5 weeks ago about this. And he said to me, well, surely they should be entitled to universal credit. And I think that's what anyone would think. And I was pleased that it's what the Prime Minister thought. We're talking about families who've been hardworking, they are law-abiding, but it just so happens their immigration status has got the condition no recourse to public funds. And typically people have that condition for 10 years before they can then apply for indefinite leave to remain. And once they've got that, then they do get access to the universal credit safety net. But in the meantime, they don't. And I was pleased that the Prime Minister, his kind of gut instinct was, well, obviously they should be entitled to help. Unfortunately, the policies of this government do not provide that help for people with no recourse to public funds. I mean, what the government tends to say about this is, well, people with no recourse to public funds can get this, this, or this. And that's true. But in order to get one of those things, you've got to meet the other criteria for them. And many people can't meet those criteria. That's why over 2 million extra people have applied for universal credit across the country in the last 3 months. At the beginning of March this year, there were only 1.5 million people in total claiming universal credit. That number has gone up by more than 2 million because so many people don't qualify for those various schemes and have needed the universal credit safety net. If you've got no recourse to public funds, you are not entitled to the universal credit safety net. And that's why it's been so hard for so many people over the last 3 months, and why I am so grateful for the work that Councillor LACMNI Shah has been doing and that the Ibrahim Mosque and others have been doing. But I did specifically mention the Ibrahim Mosque in my speech on Thursday because you've borne such a heavy part of the burden here of supporting people. And I think you've done a fantastic job. And I'm afraid so far we've not been able to persuade the government to lift the no recourse to public funds restriction. which means we're going to need you to continue that work for a while yet. We're going to carry on in Parliament, pressing them to lift it. I'll be continuing to work with Unmesh and others in raising these concerns about what's happening in communities like ours. But so far, despite the Prime Minister saying people should have access to universal credit, they unfortunately won't have. And so we need help like yours to carry on. One bit of good news this week has been the success of the campaign by the Manchester United footballer, Marcus Rashford, to continue the free school meal vouchers through the summer holidays. Originally, the government said no to that. Thankfully, because of Marcus's efforts largely, and also the fact we had a debate that the Labour Party had organised in Parliament when it was clear some Conservative MPs were going to support the Labour motion to extend those vouchers through the summer holidays. Seeing what was coming, the government finally made that concession. And most families now, with no recourse to public funds, will qualify for those vouchers over the summer. So there'll be something coming in, at least some food coming in for the children over the summer. And if you do come across any families with leave to remain who are not getting those vouchers, I'd really like to know about that, because part of the problem with all these things is people don't know the support that is available. And we just need to make sure the word gets out in our community. If you've got leave to remain, even if you've got no recourse to public funds, it's almost certain that this summer your children are entitled, or you're entitled to get these vouchers for free school meals to continue through the summer holiday. So there's lots of work to be done, but it's great to be able to pay tribute to the contribution that the Ibrahim Mosque, the very hard work of all the volunteers in the mosque, supported by the council, supported by others, other partners as well. I'm really pleased to have the opportunity to pay tribute to that work, to thank you for what you've been doing, to ask you to continue doing it while people like me are trying to press to get the rules changed. And my best wishes to everybody, and I'm really looking forward to an opportunity to visit the mosque, I hope before too long, so we can be present together face to face as we have been so often in the past. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you very much. Much appreciate your kind words. And thank you very much for mentioning Masjid Ibrahim in your speech in Parliament. And I can see quite a few clapping. Unfortunately, you can't hear them. But yes, there is a physical clapping. I can see Umesh is clapping, and Danielle, Lakmani, Lynette, everyone, you know, here, Mohammed, everyone is clapping. Thank you very much. You are representing us in the Parliament. You are representing the ones who have no voice, literally. The 800, the 800 we know, I don't know how many more who have no voice if you were not there to speak about them in the Parliament. I think we are so lucky that you are, you know, our representative. You are representing the community. I will go back to the masjid premises. We have Brother Junaid there, and this would be the last segment, and we will then close. So from my side, I would like to thank everyone who are listening on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Zoom, that you all joined us and shared this movement with us. And I really appreciate your that you all come and saw, you know, the masjid and the work masjid have been doing. So I'm going back to masjid and the last comment from there. Yes.
Thank you, Asim. So once again, I just want to say a huge thank you to all the guests that participated in this event and really told us about what this event was. So I just want to say a huge thank you to, first and foremost, Councillor Zulfikar Ali, to Superintendent Wahid Khan, speech from Unmesh Desai, and from our MP, Stephen Timms. So thank you so much. I also want to say thank you to all. Sorry?
You missed Manisha.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I missed that as well. Sorry. But I just wanted to, just furthermore from there, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to all the volunteers that helped out in this process as well. You've seen all the volunteers that have been helping out with this COVID-19 disaster food bank that we've currently going on, and to all the other volunteers who've actually set up this whole virtual mosque open day. You know, we would have loved that our doors are open and you would physically be here and that we could welcome you and, you know, we could show you around the mosque. But in times like this, we have to just rely back on technology and do a virtual mosque open day. But once again, I just want to say a huge thank you for everyone, firstly, for participating, for taking your time out and being here with us. And secondly, to all the volunteers and all the guests who've come on, spoken, and also helped out during this program. Before I go, I just want to say there are a few ways that you can still keep in touch with the activities that the Masjid Ibrahim are doing. So first and foremost, if you want to keep in touch with what are the activities Masjid Ibrahim are doing, you can visit the website, which is www.masjidibrahim.co.uk. So that's just spelled MasjidIbrahim.co.uk. Furthermore, there is an opportunity for everyone to volunteer in our UK COVID-19 emergency, and you can do so by going on our website www.ukim.org/appeals/high-care. In there, you can volunteer, and you can also ensure yourself that if you do need any help with food parcels, you'll be able to do so. And last but not least, for the youth and for the youngsters, we are active on Instagram. So you can follow the activities Masjid Ibrahim are doing on Instagram under the name UKIM Masjid Ibrahim. And we've also got a national UKIM youth page where we are hosting all different types of events for the youth. And we would very much appreciate it if you go and check them out and see the kind of activities we're doing. So last but not least, I'm going to leave it to Summer, and she's going to do a small prayer for hope. So once again, thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everybody. I'm just going to do a small prayer to conclude. So, inshallah, as we pray, when we make dua, we usually make our hands like this, inshallah, and then we will start. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of God. Ya Rahman, O the Merciful, O the Most Merciful. Ya Allah, please forgive us for our sins. Ya Allah, please guide us. And Ya Allah, please show us the right way. Ya Allah, please unify and give all the community and keep them all united under our current situation. Ya Allah, please give everybody great blessings in their homes, and keep everybody under their protection and mercy. Ya Allah, please help everybody who is struggling during these difficult times. Ya Allah, please protect everyone, keep everybody safe. And Ya Allah, please help everyone who are struggling, whose health is deteriorating, and those who are in need. Ya Allah, please restore the state of our communities. Please give us all protection. Ya Allah, keep us all under your mercy. Ya Allah, please forgive us. Ya Allah, in these difficult times, we ask for hope. We ask you to keep us safe, and we ask you to keep us secure in our homes with our families. Ya Allah, in these difficult times, we hope that we can be united with each other and our families, and we hope that we see each other very, very soon. Ya Allah, please forgive us. Please keep us steadfast, and Ya Allah, please help us in everything that we do. Thank you very much. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk, and hopefully we'll see you very, very soon. And Asim, I'll go back to you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for joining. I will close down the meeting here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, the Right Honorable Stephen Thames, Umair Desai, Councillor Zulfikar, Councillor Lakmani Shah, and all the participants. Danielle, and if I forgot the names, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you everyone for joining, and Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum and bye bye.